If you're a Starfield fan or even just someone who's been casually following Bethesda's big space RPG, you probably noticed something odd at the 2025 Xbox showcase. No trailer, no update, not even a single logo flash from this game. And for a game that was supposed to be one of Xbox's crown jewels, the silence was deafening, and it didn't go unnoticed by the fanbase. Let's dig into why Starfield skipped Xbox's biggest event of the year and what that might mean for the game's future, and why there's still plenty to look forward to in this game, including a rumored PlayStation 5 release, a second DLC, and some seriously cool modding work from the community. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Starfield news. And if you're interested, consider becoming a member on the channel for early access on every video, members only content, your name in the credits, the ability to write in and have your comments featured, and access to the Discord community. This year's Xbox Showcase had a lot to be excited about, from The Outer Worlds 2, a trailer for Black Ops 7, and some info about Blood of Dawnwalker, to new looks at an Indiana Jones DLC and some gameplay from Clockwork Revolution. Microsoft was really showing off what they have to offer in their upcoming games. But the big mystery from this event was what actually didn't show up, and that was Starfield. You'd think Bethesda's first new IP in over 2 decades would at least get some sort of mention at the showcase, especially with DLC 2 for the game possibly on the horizon later this year. But nope, they showed us nothing from Starfield, and that really did raise some eyebrows. Of course, the big question everyone's been asking since the showcase is why Starfield didn't show up, and the short answer is, it might actually be part of a bigger, more strategic move from Bethesda and Xbox. Here's where things might start to make a little bit more sense around all this. According to multiple reports and industry whispers, Bethesda might be holding off for a major showing at Gamescom this August. Why Gamescom, you might ask? Because that's likely where they're gonna announce something big. Starfield is coming to PlayStation 5, and of course that doesn't really make sense to announce at their own Xbox showcase. The once Xbox exclusive looks set to make its jump over to Sony's console later this year, at least according to rumors, and announcing that kind of platform move at an Xbox showcase, not exactly ideal for Microsoft's branding, of course. If you think about it, Gamescom gives them a more neutral ground to make this sort of announcement without turning their own showcase into a marketing headache. By going quiet now, they avoid controversy and can come out swinging in August with a fresh trailer, PS5 reveal, and maybe even details on new features, updates, or bundled content. One of the reasons Starfield needs a second wind is because the player numbers have taken quite a hit in recent months. On Steam, the concurrent players have dropped significantly since launch. Of course, it's not unusual for single-player games to dip a few months after launch, but Starfield's falloff has been steep enough to make people nervous. This isn't just about numbers, it's about perception of their product. A game that was hyped up to be the next Skyrim in space now feels like it's drifting into the void. The early buzz has faded, YouTubers have moved on, and the once booming subreddit now looks more like a support group than a celebration. That's not to say that Starfield's a bad game. Of course, you'll probably see some comments down below that would say otherwise, but personally I enjoyed the game. It's got solid mechanics and a massive world, or worlds at least, to explore, and a ton of potential for the future. But it launched with some big expectations, and for many fans it didn't quite hit the same highs as Bethesda's other older hits. Now it needs a shot of life. A PS5 release could do just that, reaching new audiences, generating fresh reviews, and giving Bethesda a chance to reintroduce the game with patches, mod support, and maybe even some reworked systems. But of course, a new DLC would also help a ton for this game. Let's talk about what's next content-wise. We already got Shattered Space, the first major expansion for Starfield, and while it added some nice layers to the game's narrative, it didn't exactly light the community on fire. But DLC 2, that might be one to watch out for. According to copyright leaks and some clever data mining from the community, the next expansion might be called Starborn, a name that should immediately ring a bell if you finish the main questline in the game. There will be some light story spoilers ahead, so if you don't want those, skip ahead in the video. You've been warned. But in Starfield's endgame, the concept of Starborn is tied to multiversal travel, reincarnation, and some of the most cosmic, mysterious parts of the game's lore. If Shattered Space was about grounded politics and alien temples, Starborn could be about full-blown cosmic weirdness. Imagine hopping between alternate versions of planets, dealing with versions of yourself, or unlocking entirely new abilities tied to your Starborn identity. But here's the kicker, Bethesda hasn't announced a release date yet, but all signs are pointing to late 2025 as the release date for this new DLC, maybe right after Gamescom. I mean, the first DLC was released in September, and the year before that, the game was released in September as well. But if they reveal Starborn and the PS5 version at the same time, it would be a killer 1-2 punch. Regardless of how they end up doing this or what happens with the game and DLC, DLC, PS5 release and all that, the next DLC has to be great. I mean, I speak for myself here, but Shattered Space wasn't great. I personally enjoyed the main game, questlines, factions, main quests, and everything like that from Starfield, but Shattered Space was not really what I was looking for from this game. While of course the player count might be dropping at the moment, the modding community is quietly keeping Starfield alive. If you've spent any time at all on Nexus mods lately, you've probably seen everything from quality of life improvements to full ship overhaul systems. But one project is getting some serious attention, and it's called Watchtower. This isn't just a tweak or a texture pack. Watchtower is being built by Kinggath Creations, the mind behind the legendary Sim Settlements mod for Fallout 4, and I believe they also did the Skyrim Bard's College creation for Skyrim. But if you know his work, you know he doesn't mess around. His mods are essentially expansion packs, fully voiced, deeply scripted, and packed with systems that Bethesda didn't even think to include themselves. Available now on PC and Xbox Series consoles through the Starfield Creation platform for about 1,000 creation credits or about $10, Watchtower introduces a brand new faction that operates in the shadows to protect humanity from unchecked power, and they've decided that you're their next weapon. The mod kicks off with players assembling a fleet. They're gathering ships that can be outfitted with skydrops, which are tools for orbital strikes or supply drops during battle. It's a welcome tactical layer that makes space combat feel way more dynamic. You'll also be working out of a new headquarters, a derelict star station that evolved over time into a living hub for your growing crew and fellow adventurers. As the story in this new creation progresses, you'll dismantle the Watchtower piece by piece, clearing out spy satellites, outposts, and fleets while snagging exotic gear for your team. One highlight is the addition of cyber amps, facial augmentations that improve piloting skills and give your squad an edge in the cockpit. Even more impressive with this new creation, the mod features extensive branching dialogue and reactivity, encouraging multiple playthroughs of this new mod. This sounds like exactly the kind of content Starfield needs right now. Fresh, deep, and fan-driven. And while Bethesda's teasing exciting things for the future for later this year possibly, it's clear that the story of Starfield is far from over. If this can land the same way that Sim Settlements did for Fallout 4, it could end up being more popular than the game's official DLCs. Mods like this are often what give Bethesda titles their second lives. Skyrim and Fallout 4 stayed relevant for years after release thanks to their modding scene, and they're still alive today because of them. And Starfield does have the same potential, but it's going to rely on projects like Watchtower and continued mod support to get there. So let's address the question that's been hanging over all of this. Is Starfield in trouble? Well, it kind of depends on how you define trouble, I guess. Is it dying? Not exactly, but it does still have a core community, and hopefully there's more updates in the future, and plans for more content like the future DLC. Bethesda hasn't abandoned the game, at least yet, that we know of, but it's fair to say it hasn't become the cultural juggernaut that Xbox had hoped it would actually be. Their competition is stiffer now than ever before, and players obviously have other options. And let's be honest, space exploration RPGs have gotten more ambitious across the board. Games like No Man's Sky and Mass Effect Legendary Edition have reclaimed goodwill and market share among the industry, and Starfield needs to evolve to keep up. And that obviously means more than just patches. It needs meaningful content updates. It needs systems that feel dynamic and alive. It needs reasons for players to come back to the game, and reasons for new players to actually jump into it. Here's where we land at the moment, I guess. Starfield's absence from the Xbox showcase wasn't just a fluke, hopefully at least. It might be a calculated move. Bethesda is likely gearing up for a big moment at Gamescom in August, one that could shift the whole conversation around this game. If they announce Starborn as DLC 2, confirm the PS5 version and release date, and maybe throw in some other upgrades or features, then they're essentially hitting the reset button. And that might be exactly what the game needs at the moment. Will it win back everyone who bounced off the game originally? Maybe not. But it doesn't have to. What it needs is momentum, relevance, and a reason for people to care about it again. Starfield still has the potential to be something great, not just good enough, and if Bethesda plays the next move right, we might just be hitting into a golden age for the game. But they also have the same potential to continue to miss, and the game would actually be done for at that point in time. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Starfield news. And if you're looking for something else to watch, click one of the videos you're seeing on screen right now. I will see you there. Also, a huge thank you to all the amazing channel members.